All right, says I'm live. If you guys can hear me, please let me know. I'm not sure how many people will be here today because the race did get postponed until tomorrow, and I do think the NBA playoffs do start somewhat soon, but I do want to get something out for you guys. If you have any questions, so people can watch it on playback. Not sure how long we'll be here, but I'll be here as long as you guys want me to be. So looking forward to the race on Monday, obviously. Should be all right. I don't mind Dover. I mean, we kind of know the guys that are always good here. Probably be good here once again. Obviously, practice got rained out at the very end. Qualifying got rained out, so we had the lineup formula from Talladega. So it's kind of an odd one, but shouldn't be too bad. But I do appreciate everyone here. We got about, I think about 60, so that's not terrible. But let me pull up the spreadsheet here. I got the baseball one up right now, and that's not going to do us any good. Although I guess if you have any baseball questions, we can try to. Yes, it is postponed. So we're basically just talking about what the race will be like tomorrow. Obviously, we got nothing today. And I did just get word from FanDuel that lock will be pushed back until tomorrow at noon. I know DraftKings already pushed theirs back until noon, so good to go on that front. But I see Alex is here, so I'm not sure who I like as a Dom this week. PD place differential and cheap plays seem a lot more obvious. Yeah, Doms are kind of tough this week because whenever we have a... Yeah, Frank, that did get postponed to Monday already. But as far as the Dominators this week, it's definitely tougher because I don't think we have any good track data to work with. Obviously, we did have that practice session, but I don't think looking at any of the data from the practice session makes any sense to me. I think you're just getting caught up in the numbers, and obviously Corey LaJoy having the best 5-lap average consecutive. I mean, I think that tells you everything you need to know. Obviously, we saw some of the Hendrick guys be fast, and we're probably going to see that during the race, but I don't think trying to grab things from practice makes a lot of sense. So I'm not even looking at practice. And the Dominators, I think we just got to look at guys that are good at Dover, fast this year so far. I would be very surprised if we don't see like the likes of Kyle Larson, William Byron, Chase Elliott get up front at some point. I also think Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, those kind of guys can make some noise. And then some sleepers, maybe like Kevin Harvick and Ross Chastain. But Kyle Larson's going to be my main Dominator that I'm building around. Kind of a hybrid starting in 18th. But with the way the lineup formula is, it's not like all the fast cars earn their spot up front. Like Kyle Larson was Kyle Busch was garbage, unloaded off the truck this weekend, but lucked out, got in the pool because of the lineup formula. So it's like the guys in the qualifying spots earn their spots this week. It's just basically luck of the draw from Talladega. What's up, Mitchell? Says happy race day. What 2 racers do you like for a DraftKings GBP 20 entry max? Enjoy the content every week. Keep it up. Thank you, Mitchell. If I had to play 2 drivers this week, I don't know what kind of price range we're talking about, but I'm building around Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott this week. Like, that's the guys I'm starting with. I love Hendrick this weekend. And, I just have a hard time seeing them not get up front at some point, or at least contend for that. I mean, we know how good Chase Elliott is at Dover. Most race a winner here. Great on concrete tracks. Kyle Larson, excellent at all similar tracks to Dover. I know it's kind of a unique track, but I don't see a reason why neither of those guys can be very good today, or tomorrow. And he says, the race has been postponed until tomorrow, but we're still going live today. Yep, we sure are. I do appreciate everyone here, even though we are postponed, but I figured some people want to watch this on playback, so hopefully you all can ask me some good questions for people that aren't going to stop by today. Which says, also, I'm not sure if it's your birthday, but if it is, happy birthday. Yeah, I needed to clear that up. I said that as a joke in my video. I was just trying to think of something to say stupid. But I think people took it serious, and everyone kept wishing me happy birthday, so I just had to go with it at that point. But it's not my birthday. My birthday is in November, so we got a while. Wait until Phoenix at the championship. But yeah, not my birthday, but I do appreciate all the birthday wishes for those who thought it was. And this fly is driving me nuts. I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's just insane. I got dinner from my man Clint. Do appreciate that, Clint. If you guys didn't know or saw on Twitter, Clint had a great weekend last week. Took down, I think, both mini maxes. I think both of them. If not, he got like second, but it was great. Says thanks for everything, Chris. Best NASCAR community out there. Hit the like button. Join on Patreon and Discord. Go Harvick. Appreciate that, Clint. Hopefully, you can have another great weekend. I know you've been crushing the mini max, so keep up the good work. And I do appreciate the dono, sir. And hopefully, the new puppy is going well. What's up? Cliff says, I don't like my initial build today of Larson, Elliott, Bell, McDowell, Gilliland, and LaJoy because I fear it's chalky and I spent every dollar available. I do not think Christopher Bell will be very chalky today, especially if you're jamming in Bell with Larson and Elliott. I don't think a lot of people are going to go with that today, personally for me. When I say today, you guys know I mean tomorrow. It's just going to be hard not to say that. I don't really like that too much because I think you're just really jamming in maybe too much up top. I mean, you're assuming Christopher Bell leads stage 1 at that point because he's starting second. So, I mean, there's really no room for him not to dominate to be optimal at his price point. And you're pretty much hoping, Elliott grabs stage 2, Larson grabs stage 3 at that point. But I'm not sure I love the build. I think 2 of those guys is fine, but 3 might be pushing it. Because when I say 2 to 3 DOMs, if I'm going 2 DOMs, I'm talking probably like a Larson Elliott. They're expensive, but you can still put a pretty good lineup together with that. But if I'm going 3 DOMs, that's when I'm starting to go like a Larson, like a Truex, who's a little bit cheaper, and then maybe like a Kevin Harvick where you're saving some cash. So I think that might be a bit too much, like too heavy up top. But yeah, like Frank said, it's solid. Like if you nail the Dominators there, the cheap plays there what they are. As long as they don't wreck out, they should be fine. But it's going to be tough to nail all 3 that are super expensive in the 10K range like that. Sincere says, will there be a competition caution for every stage? No, that'll just be stage 1. I don't know when that'll be. Probably around lap 20, lap 30 tomorrow. But we'll definitely have one. Frank says, not sure, but those tires were a problem in the little bit of practice they had. Yeah, I know a lot of teams were kind of worried when they saw the tires yesterday. I saw Courting and wasn't the, I know was it Brett Griffin on Twitter? He was not happy with what he saw from the tire fall off. So it was not the tire fall off we were looking for. Let's see. Race fan says, my only lineup has Larson, Elliott, Harvick with 700 left over. Like, that's a really good 3-dom build because with Kevin Harvick, you are saving some cash. So instead of grabbing 3 guys that are in the 10K range and even 11K range with Kyle Larson, Kevin Harvick's kind of cheap there, $9,300, and he could definitely be a Dominator for Dover. So I'm okay with that. Rick says, rain, go away. Guess we got the race on Monday. Hey, kind of rhymes there, but yep. We have a noon race tomorrow, so hopefully you guys aren't stuck at work, and if you are, hopefully you can still watch the race. Says, where am I supposed to get the 2 to 4 inches of rain in the rain the rest of the week? Oh, where you are at? Yeah, that sucks. It's been, well, I guess the sun just came out here, but it's been cloudy for a couple of days down here in South Florida, so kind of sucks, but seeing the sun now, but we're under a tornado watch right now. We've had some bad storms. I guess everywhere is getting rough weather because I know the Atlanta and New York Mets series has just gotten like every game rained out so far, which sucks because I want to play Spencer Strider, but we just can't do it. I don't hear from Chokehold. Appreciate that. It says, can I get your Dom group and PD groups? PD group at least 2 or 3. I don't build PD groups personally. I wouldn't really see a reason to build a place differential group. The only groups I would build is for like a track like Talladega, sure, Daytona. But for these kind of tracks, I'm not really worried about making place differential groups. But for the DOMs, it's kind of weird this week because usually wouldn't like view guys starting like 18th, around that range as Dominators. But the lack of practice data that I think is useful in the lineup formula, I think we can kind of call these hybrid guys Dominators because they can work their way through the field. So I would say guys like Kyle Larson's in your Dom group, William Byron, Chase Elliott, Hamlin, Bell, Truex, so everybody in the 5-figure range. Also Chastain, Busch, Hart. So literally just the first, go from the top to the bottom, and then once you hit 9,300, that's when I'm cutting off the Dom group pretty much. If you want to throw Chris Buescher in there, you can, but I'm not sure I'd do that. But I do appreciate the dono, sir. What's up, Kyle? Says, thoughts on Dominators versus place differential value, sensing many drivers will be casualties of tire failure. Thanks, Amigo, and best of luck. Appreciate that, sir. I mean, I think you just kind of have to build this like your typical 400 lap race where you want 2 Dominators per lineup and then you just fill out the rest. I mean, because sure, maybe some guys have issues. I know we're kind of going in blind because practice is going to be worthless. We were on a misty, cloudy track, and tomorrow it's going to be sunny and fine. So, I mean, I don't see how any of that would matter what we saw on Saturday. Not that really pertains to your question, but you still are going to have Dominators mixed in for sure. So it's going to be harder to nail than the place differential guys. Like, I mean, obviously we know Austin Dillon. He's pretty obvious play. Bubba Wallace, Josh Berry, Ty Gibbs. All these guys are pretty much locks to gain a lot of spots. Michael McDowell. But you got to still make sure you get your Dominators in there. So I wouldn't go full on place differential. I'm answering your question. I might have screwed that up. Cliff says, I got 1.5 inches of rain on Friday and I'm due for the same today. That's brutal. Where you at, Cliff? It seems like everywhere is getting rain though. I know we have. Says Chris is late. I'm in shock. You know how it is. Gotta be late always. I get up late on Sunday and then I gotta hurry up and eat breakfast and do all this. Bill says live right outside of Philly, about an hour north of Dover, and there's going to be a small window, but it's still raining hard, so with drying track, I don't see this getting in. Hopefully I'm wrong. Well, Bill, they already postponed it, so don't have to worry about that today. I did saw there was a window, and I was like, oh, NASCAR is going to do that thing where they throw the cars on the track for 10 minutes, they run some caution laps, then it rains, and they do the red flag, and they postpone it until tomorrow, which is what they always do. Then the lineups lock, and we have to look at locked lineups for like 24 hours, but they actually called it early, so hats off to NASCAR, finally doing something right. Usually they always screw that up. Yeah, it's already postponed, guys. Sir Pico says, cash games, 3 studs and 3 dumpers. I think for cash games, a lot of people probably just jam in Larson and Elliott, and then after that, either like probably throw in Joey Logano, Kevin Harvick. I can see being quite popular. But I do think the 2 highest owned big dogs up top are going to be Larson and Elliott. I think Truex will also pick up a lot of ownership. Maybe more people go with Truex over Elliott in cash games. I think it'll be close. You get 7 extra spots with Truex. He's also very good here, but I feel like everyone's going to be enamored with Hendrick this week. And so as of right now, my ownership projections, I got 24 more hours to tweak that. So maybe that'll change. But as of right now, I do have Larson and Elliott the highest owned as far as the big guys. And I do think Joey Logano will pick up a lot of ownership because projection systems, it's going to be hard for them not to like Logano. Starting in 26, I feel like I'm slightly lower on Logano than the industry will be. I'm only giving him like a 14th-ish, 15th place finish, which maybe that's a little bit low. I can make some tweaks now that we have plenty of time. For those of you over on Patreon, you'll see the updates. If I do any, I'll let you know. But I do think Logano will pick up a lot of ownership at that price tag. Because I know Team Penske is not really great at Dover, but he's also a guy that has 4 top 10s here past 6 races. So I'm not expecting him to win. But if he can contend for a top 10, I mean, that's fine for cash. But I do think there's definitely pivots for tournaments like Brad Keselowski and Kevin Harvick in similar price range. What's up, Ryan? Who are the lock and loaded 2 to 3 must plays for small field GP in cash? So if I'm forced to pick 2 to 3 guys on this slate, I'm probably starting with Larson, Elliott, Dillon. And I'm not like in love with Dillon, but at his price, he just makes things work. And if he doesn't wreck, that's going to work out. And we don't have much practice data to work with, so I don't really think we know who's like super fast right now. So why not just take the guy in the back that's, as long as he doesn't wreck, he'll contend for a top 20, right? Race fan says, the beers are already flowing today. Nothing else to do when it's raining. Like, yeah, that sucks. Yeah, and then you don't have racing to watch now. I mean, we got baseball now. I'll be watching baseball, I guess, building baseball lineups, which just reminds me I should probably reserve some. And probably lots of Warzone. So it sounds like a fun day, actually. Baseball and Warzone. Grady Flick says, Arden from Yonkers in the building. What is up, sir? Morning gearheads, nice to have an event to sweat during work on Monday. Yeah, that'll be fun for sure. I mean, usually wake up on Monday and nothing to do, so that'll be fun. Hopefully you guys can watch it at work or whatever you're doing. Slippery and wet, definitely wet today. I guess I'll just say hello and look to everyone tomorrow. Let's go Chase. Hey, I'm with you on Chase. The only bet I have right now is Larson at plus 600. Which kind of sucks that we didn't get qualifying because I think he would have been probably in the top 5. So that's unfortunate. But even with him starting mid-pack, his odds went down, actually. I think he's at plus 400 still, at least when I looked yesterday. Let me check. Okay, so he was at 400, now he's at 450. But I still feel good about that. I got value. I kind of want to bet Chase. I mean, I hate just betting the 2 favorites. But a track like Dover, I mean, I don't think we're going to have like a major surprise. And at least he starts a little bit further up. Let me see what his price is on FanDuel. He's 600 on DK. I thought I saw him at 700. Yeah, he's 700 on FanDuel. So if you're going to bet Chase Elliott today, do not go to DraftKings. Just get the extra 100 there over on FanDuel. I did want to mention, I think Underdog put a pretty bad line out on Chase Elliott because looking at his odds for a top 5, I guess FanDuel doesn't have those odds. But if you're looking at Chase Elliott's odds for a top 5, he's at minus 140. And over on Underdog, His prop's at 6.5 for the finishing position, so you're actually getting an extra spot there. And I'm surprised that has not moved yet. But Chase Elliott under 6.5 or lower, I guess, was one of my favorite props over on Underdog for those of you who do play. I think that should probably be set at like 4.5 or 5. So I think you're getting some pretty good value there. Truex or Harvick, who's projected more for you? Thanks. I believe Truex is. Yeah, I have Truex as my third highest projected driver today. I have Kevin Harvick at 51-ish and Truex at 58-ish. So definitely a pretty big advantage there for Truex. My top three are Larson, Elliott, and Truex today in the projections. Happy birthday. Not my birthday. I felt bad. Everyone took the time to tell me happy birthday. I was like, it was a joke. Timothy says, walk me through the Truex Logano advice. I mean, Truex, he's been fast this year. Sometimes the finishes just aren't there for him, but this has been a very good track for Truex. I mean, kind of like pretty much right there with Larson, and Kevin Harvick has just been the best driver here recently, as well as Chase Elliott. But he's been very good, starting 17th, and we have a lot of uncertainty. So starting mid-pack, at least he has a cushion. If he doesn't dominate, like let's just say he kind of sits around 6th, but if he picks up fast laps throughout the race, I mean, it's not terrible at $10,000. As for Joey Logano, I don't mind being underweight on him in tournaments, but if you are playing cash games, I mean, he's a pretty safe bet for him to gain close to 10 spots, right? So, Tall Guy Gamer says, best value play for the race besides Austin Dillon. Besides Austin Dillon, let me just sort this by value. Looks like for the cheap plays, like I have Larson as my best value, but obviously he's not a value play. Looks like Josh Berry and Michael McDowell would be the next guys up. Do like Josh Berry a lot today, but Michael McDowell is projecting very well for me too. I should probably move my spreadsheet over here so I don't have to break my neck looking over to the left. There we go. But I can't see my screen. That's better. Okay. Slippery and Wet says, both Larson and Elliott viable for cash. Yeah, I think a lot of people will go that route. If they're not going Larson and Elliott, I think they're going Larson and Truex personally. So I think either one of those combos is fine for cash games today. Timothy says, finally made the top 5 in your contest. Congrats, Timothy. That's great. Keep up the good work. Hopefully you can do it once again. Rice fan says, Dylan, Haley, Gillen, Larson, Truex, Elliott. I feel like my lineup. I feel like that's a solid lineup. Assuming you mean Austin, Dylan. But I think that looks pretty good. I mean, you have Larson, Truex, Elliott, which, look, I'm not the hugest fan of the 310K guys, but it's honestly not too bad. I mean, you have Dylan in the back, you have Gillen and Haley, who I think are fine plays, so that could work out. I mean, if you know your dominators, that'll be a pretty good lineup, so I don't mind that. It says, what's in the cup? Just water. You know how it is. Clint says, Chris, have you changed your mind about Kyle Busch? I'm still trying to decide what I want to do with Kyle Busch. I really wish he wasn't on the poll because it makes things weird. Like, he'll probably have the best car in the top 5. At the same time, though, Brett Keselowski was really fast. Like, if you want to get really weird, I mean, Keselowski could be that early dominator. Thing is, though, Kyle Busch, he should be faster than Blaney. He's probably right there with Keselowski. He should be better than Briscoe. Should be better than Buescher. And Bell will be the main threat there. Tough though. Just there's a lot of uncertainty. Kyle Busch did not unload fast. Obviously, he's a great driver. Good equipment. But if he doesn't lead a ton of laps, I mean, there's so many guys that place differential that have very similar upside to Kyle Busch. Like, Byron's in 8th. Elliott's in 10th. Larson's in 18th. Hamlin's in 13th. Truex is in 17th. Like, yeah, they're not going to lead the laps at the beginning, but the place differential will make up for the laps they don't lead. And we're going to get the competition caution, which could always filter out Kyle Busch. So, gotta be careful. I feel like being lower on him in tournaments is the way to go. Like, I'm going to personally have more exposure to Chastain and Kevin Harvick. Not to say I'm full fading Busch, but I mean, he didn't earn the pole. Like, yeah, he did good last week. That's why he's on the pole. But like, he didn't get there because of speed on Saturday. He's not an earned pole. Who was a guy that was fast all weekend. This certainly wasn't the case. Got a donut from my man Spread. My yeah, happy Warzone day, boss. Yeah, appreciate the dono Spread. Yeah, lots of Warzone today. That's for sure. Spread's one of my Warzone partners. Playing every night. So me, my girlfriend Spread, and Tito, who I think is asleep. We'll be running quads all day probably. Morning, Albert. In cash, I got Larson, Harvick, Logano, Gibbs, Gilliam, Barry. Do you think I need to get a driver that's starting up front? For cash, I don't think you need to. But if you're playing cash games, I would really recommend getting Austin Dillon in there. It's going to be extremely high owned, and if he crushes, you're going to be at a very big disadvantage. And if he wrecks out, it doesn't matter because everyone's going to play him either way. So I would really recommend getting Austin Dillon in for cash games. I don't know, man. Dillon isn't a backup. Doesn't really mean anything. I mean, we've seen guys pretty much contend for wins with backup cars. Plus, it's not like he's $10,000. He's basically free. He's starting in the back, and I mean, he's going to be all right. I mean, I remember everyone was worried about Kyle Busch in a parts car. That was Denny Hamlin's last year, I think, at Vegas. And then he went from the back straight to the front, leading some laps, and honestly probably should have won that race. So I don't really care that he's in a backup car. Appreciate the donor race fan. I don't know, for some reason, does not show the $1.99s on top. So I apologize for not seeing that till just now. But thank you for being here, sir. And I do appreciate the questions you ask. And I'm sure other people do as well that are too nervous to ask. Yeah, gloom for sure. Although I'm happy it's postponed. I hate when they do they'll run some caution laps, throw the red flag, and then we're locked. Mundo's World says, good morning. Good morning, Mundo. Who's the best value play? Austin Dillon. Best value play down there. Michael McDowell's going to be popping for me as well. And then Gillen too. But Dillon's going to project the best everywhere. I'm sure no matter what site you're looking at. Oh, you're up there in Maine? Probably cold up there, isn't that? Yeah, I'm glad I'm not up in Maine right now. It's raining here, but I'll take my, what is it, 80 right now? So I'll take the 80. Frank says, do we have to lock before the projected start time on DK? No, I think DraftKings moved theirs to 12, right? I know FanDuel did, and I think someone, yeah, I'm pretty sure they're at 12 right now. So we got about 24 hours to build 26 hours. Ryan says, who are the go-to scrubs? Tank them. Go-to scrubs. Maybe if you want to count Austin Dillon as a scrub. Austin Dillon, AJ Allmendinger, Todd Gillen, Corey LaJoy, Justin Haley, Burton. I mean, all those guys are fine, but Dillon, Dinger, and Gillen do project the best for me. Sean says, thoughts on Suarez? You know, I was thinking about him. I'm just not really sure what I want to do with Suarez here. Like, he's not terrible at Dover. I mean, does have like 4 top 15s here the past 6 races. He's in a weird spot. I don't mind him for tournaments, but I really do prefer Josh Berry. But if you're looking for a pivot, like in the 7K range, but if you're looking for a pivot off of Bubba Wallace, who's going to pick up some ownership, I mean, Suarez is definitely a viable option there. Bryce Santa says NBA too. Yeah, I don't like NBA enough to watch it really. I'll play fantasy for it, sure, but I don't really like the NBA. I mean, the last time I was really into NBA, I mean, I play DFS for it a lot. And this fly, I hate this fly so much. Yeah, last time I was in the NBA when LeBron was on the Cavs, because I'm a Cleveland fan, so that was a good time. But ever since he left, it hasn't been as fun. Although this year they weren't bad, but the Knicks definitely a little bit better. Ryan says, rank them. Was thinking Gilly, Dillon, LaJoy, then Burton in that order. I was one step ahead of you. I already did rank them. Sniper says, God hates Warzone. Hey, Warzone's the best sniper. And you used to play with us, so I don't want to hear it. Cameron says, I know you mentioned yesterday you were waiting to see with Kyle Busch due to ownership. What's your updated interest in rostering him? So I'll tell you what the sim results have for Kyle Busch. Now I'm probably going to do some updated ones throughout the day. Maybe get some more sentiment so we have more time. But as of right now, I'm projecting Kyle Busch for like lower 20s in ownership. I'm showing him optimal around 15, 18% of the time. So as of right now, it looks like I'll be underweight on Kyle Busch. So, like I said, not a full fade, but he is showing some negative leverage. And there's a lot that could go wrong on the poll for a race that we just don't have much data for. And especially with an early competition caution, it's going to be a green racetrack, so. Yep, postponed till noon. If you're just getting here, you're not racing today. Triple G says, just got in, am I late or are you late, Chris? You can bet on me always being late, so I'll let it slide, Triple G. I can't hate on anybody being late. Conscious says, I had Truex last week against Chris's advice. Asked if Elliott and Truex were locks in GPP. Yeah, Truex was definitely not a lock in GPP. Starting in 7th at Talladega. That's for sure. That was a fun week though, Talladega. I think I was getting crushed for like 99% of the race, and then everything that could have went right for me at the end, so it was great. Usually doesn't go that way, but it did. Got the Busch 18-1 bet, which covered all the DFS for the day, and then DFS ended up doing really good as well, like 3x I think. So it's a fun day. It was good. It was gonna be horrible until like the very last lap, so that's typical Talladega though. But lots of questioning from a lot of people on DraftKings' part last week for paying out before the official order. Twitter wasn't a pretty place after that. Since tires will be concerned, should we look for drivers that manage their tires? I mean, something you can think about, but don't forget track conditions are going to be completely different. But I mean, as far as tires are concerned, I mean, if you're really worried about that, Kevin Harvick is the man. Like, he is excellent. I think I just spit. He's excellent at managing his tires. So I already like Kevin Harvick either way, just because of how good he is at Dover and overall this year. I mean, with a lot of uncertainty heading to the weekend, I mean, one of the most consistent and safe drivers to roster all season long has been Kevin Harvick. So he's got that working for him as well. Mundo says thoughts on Hamlin and Bell. I definitely like Hamlin. Bell, he's just in a tough spot. For Bell to work out, he's going to have to get the lead early on and hold it. But again, there's going to be lots of good drivers behind him that offer place differential upsides. So I'm not super keen on using Bell. I think I'm projected for around low 40s in points, which compared to everybody else in that price range, it does not look too good. So I'll be pretty low on Bell. Andrew says, Priest or McDowell on DraftKings Big Tourneys. I think I have McDowell slightly higher than Priest. Let me check. Yeah, I got McDowell a little bit higher than Priest, just by a couple points. So I'd go with McDowell. Great, Coach shows up and we're talking Warzone, so you just got us all in trouble. What's up, Andy? What's up, Spread? What's up, Coach? Anthony says, thoughts on Priest on DraftKings? He's fine. Starting in the back, but I do prefer like McDowell a little bit more. And if you are playing in tournaments, I actually have Almirola projected for just like a couple decimal points higher than Ryan Priest. He's not going to be nearly as safe, but I don't mind that pivot in tournaments. Andrew says, you think we see one dominant car like we saw in Xfinity? I don't think so. I think we're going to have multiple dominators. Because, I don't think the best car in the field is starting up front. Because you just have so many good cars coming through the field for, the Cup race. Larson, Elliott, Truex, Hamlin. Like, sure, Busch could lead for a while, but, at some point, I think someone will get him. And Josh says, is the race there tomorrow? On DraftKings, it says the race is tomorrow at 12. Yeah, it got rained out, Josh, so we're looking forward to tomorrow's race, I guess. But, yeah, unfortunately, nothing today. What's up, Matthew? Says, hey, Chris, can I swap Truex for Larson in cash? Going with the Truex brothers, both winning storyline. You can, but personally for me, I think Larson will be mega chalk in cash games, and if he just comes out and dominates and you don't have him, it's not going to feel great. So I'd probably get Larson in there in cash, but you can play Larson and Truex together for cash games. That's totally fine. If you are playing cash this week, I think you either start with Larson and Truex or Larson and Elliott. Anthony Holloway says, what will be the best place differential play on today's slate? Austin Dillon's going to be the guy that pops the most. Logano, Michael McDowell, those are your biggest movers. As far as my place differential rankings, let me check that out actually. So the guys I projected to gain the most spots: Austin Dillon, Kyle Larson, Wallace, Logano, McDowell, Truex in that order. And by Truex for Larson, I meant the other way around. I want to play Truex over Larson. Just not sure if it's a good cash idea. I would do that in tournaments, but you can play both. I'm assuming you already have Elliott, if that's your question. But I think Larson's the one you have to stick with in cash, just strictly due to ownership purposes. But I mean, he should be solid. I just got another DM from FanDuel. Let's see. Oh, they just want my feedback. My feedback is they should open the $50 single entry that they did not have today. Clint says, I'm probably going to play MLB The Show later on. I need to practice on my batting, or maybe I should just go to Grand Theft Auto. Yeah, I got to play The Show too. I love that game. Although I've been struggling this year a little bit. I always jam my joystick down when it's some high heat and I whiff. 47 degrees. Oh, goodness. Says, we were built differently up here though. I mean, yeah, I'm from Ohio, so I'm not like spoiled in Florida with this warm weather. Like I've done the cold weather for a majority of my life, but Maine sounds even worse than Ohio, so I'm sure you got me beat in that regard. Anthony says, Haley or LaJoy on DraftKings? I think I have, it's got to be a close one in the projections. Looks like I have Justin Haley a little bit higher. Andy says, show everyone the new tattoo. Oh yeah, if you were in Discord and Instagram, I did get a new tattoo yesterday. Me and my girlfriend got matching beach tattoos for moving to Florida, so it's kind of hard to show here, but you can see it. It's pretty cool. I like it. So that'll be my third one now. But it's still healing, so it kind of hurts. Definitely not a fun area to get one. Mundo says, is a place differential lineup a good strategy for this race? It's definitely not terrible. Don't neglect Dominators. Like, don't leave a lot of money on the table or anything like that. But I mean, if you want to do like a Larson, Truex, Ross Chastain build, that's fine, I think. Cameron says, any prize picks props you love? For the record, Steph Curry free score today, if anyone wants to add them to your prize picks line. I forgot about the Steph Curry free score. I probably should have mentioned that in the ad read yesterday. Let me check prize picks and see if anything moved. I only took 2 drivers yesterday, and that was Kyle Larson and Chase Elliott, just because they're my favorite this weekend. So I took the over on Larson and Elliott fantasy points. Like, I have Larson projected for around 70 today, and that might be a bit conservative. And then I have Elliott around 60, so a little bit of leverage there, but I just was a big believer in the 200 cards. So I went with those 2, and the other ones that looked somewhat interesting. The Ryan Preece under was kind of there for me. They have to have him finish around 14th for that to work out, and I am projected for a little bit worse than that. And then also Josh Berry's over at 38.5. I thought wasn't too bad for the over. Doesn't look like the lap sled props changed at all. So, yeah, I was mainly just interested in the Hendrick cars. But yeah, the Steph Curry free square. Maybe you'll find some baseball ones I like too. The problem is though, I mean, if you're looking for a baseball prop at this point, all the strikeouts got bumped up. So you got to get the strikeout props in really early. Any drivers going to the back? Austin Dillon is, but he's already there. Sean says, thoughts on Ty Dillon? I know he's starting mid-pack, but at 4,700 in a little track position to start, why not? I could tell you a lot of reasons why not, I think. Ty Dillon sucks. And look, it's not like he earned the spot, guys. Like, it's just because he finished all right at Talladega last week. So, sorry, I got distracted. But yeah, no Ty Dillon for me, please. He's going to go straight back. I think where did Truex finish? Didn't he finish in the 20s, I thought? Let me check the Talladega order. Yeah, he finished 27th. JJ Yeley with the P11 though. Shout out to JJ Yeley last week. No, LaJoy this week seems like an auto loss. Oh, I'm not anti-LaJoy this week. I mean, he's all right. I got, what's he projected in my Sims? I got LaJoy optimal around 13-15% of the time, which isn't bad. I mean, you got to keep in mind, Dylan's keeping a lot of ownership in that cheap price range, so is Dinger and Gillen. I mean, but LaJoy's not a bad play. There's just so many decent plays down there. What's up, Jay Smoke? Says, I like Elliott today to win, but I'm leaning place differential. It's hard to play guys up front, in my opinion. A lot of laps and a lot of opportunities for the field to get shaken up. If this was not a weird weekend with rain and like bad practice and stuff like that, I would say this is a track position race where I want the guys up front. But with no one really earning their spots, you know, it's kind of hard to say that. So I'm kind of with you on leaning on the place differential hybrid Dominator plays. So I'm with you in that regard. Yeah, look to you as well, Matthew. Got about 24 hours, so look to you tomorrow as well. We have plenty of time to build some lineups. What's up, Ryan? Says, I might have missed it, but who would be your cash plays? I think in cash, you got to start with Kyle Larson. You need Austin Dillon. And then I am probably picking between Truex or Elliott for my second dom. I'll give you a 3 there. Jesse says Keselowski or Buescher. 2 fine tournament plays, but I'm going to go with Keselowski. It was Bristol last year, right, when they just killed it out of nowhere. I gotta pull up that Bristol race. Well, maybe not. There it is. Yeah, RFK was pretty good. Chris Buescher won that race. He led, what, 169 laps. Brad Keselowski led 109. And look, I mean, I don't want to draw too many comparisons to Bristol to Dover, but I always call Dover Bristol's big brother. So, and Keselowski, we're not looking at practice, but he did unload very fast yesterday. So, I mean, there's always a chance we can see them do well again. I don't hate Keselowski in tournaments, but yeah, picking between those two, I'll take Kes. History Buff says more of a chance of Dominator starting further back like Xfinity yesterday. It's possible. I thought, didn't Ryan Truex start up front? I mean, I didn't watch the Xfinity race. I thought he did, though. Maybe not. But I think it's very possible with how many good cars we have in the Cup field, kind of starting 11 through 20. Sean says matching tats, how sweet. Yep. Hers was a little bit more girly, so I took away the heart and stuff. But yeah, I told her I'd match with her. No, he started 12th. For some reason, I thought I started close to the front, but I mean, that's why I kind of view the Cup race being tomorrow. I am getting somewhat close to the end of the chat, I think. So if you do have any questions, serious or not, I don't really care. I'm bored anyway. I just make sure you get them in before I get out of here. Justin says we have seen Tat 1 and 2. I'm not even asking where Tat 3 is. They're all on my wrist, Coach. You've seen it. I see Tito decided to wake up. Good morning, Tito. Yeah, you do. You've seen it. Nice Kevin says when the Dillons retire, I'll maybe start winning at DFS. They like to burn people, don't they? Yeah, I hate Austin Dillon. Ever since the Daytona 500, when he dumped on Marola, I had 90% on Marola starting the very back, about to win the race. Austin Dillon had other plans. Hated him ever since. No Truex slanders allowed. I've done the complete opposite of slandering Truex this weekend, Tito. Like, the complete opposite. I like him. I think C-Pen just fell asleep with his eyes open. Right, he says, Price Picks paying you. You should spend a few more minutes promoting them. Enjoy your content. Keep it up. We are partners, and I do enjoy playing over there very much. So if anyone does ever have Price Picks questions, I'm more than happy to answer them. I'll set the Price Picks prop tool in my spreadsheet. But yeah, I do enjoy playing over there, and they run awesome promos. They really do. Yeah, the wrenches are flying today. What's up, Rick? What is the strategy today with no practice or no information? You kind of have to play it safe with the information that we have this weekend, which is very little. So just rostering drivers that are good at these track types, good at Dover, and kind of having a safety net with a little bit of place differential on some of those hybrid dominators, I think is probably the best route to go. Priest, DraftKings cash thoughts? It's fine as a last piece fit, although I'm not going my way to play Priest, but if he's your last guy in, sure. I mean, I don't have a problem with it. Would you roll with Kyle Busch as a Dominator? A little bit, but I'm going to be underweight compared to the field on Kyle Busch this weekend, personally. It's just one of those things where he didn't earn the pole based off his speed. He just kind of got put there. And then we're going to have the competition caution early on. And, I mean, besides Auto Club, Busch has not been that great. Yeah, he won Talladega last week, but, he's definitely not had more speed than, like, Hendrick cars or even the Joe Gibbs guys that just... Outside of Auto Club, I know he was great there. What's your top 5 for tournaments? Top 5's a bit much. I'll do 3. I like Truex quite a bit. He's going to be chalky, but I think he'll be a little bit less owned than Chase Elliott. I like Ross Chastain. I like Kevin Harvick up top. And Josh Berry's probably one of my favorite mid-range plays. Yeah, I hear you, Coach. I hear you. Doug says, which do you prefer for cash, Harvick or Logano? I have Harvick projected higher, but for cash purposes, Logano's probably a bit safer. Priest for the win. Priest for a top 20, maybe. Yeah, no problem, sir. Thank you for being here. Atlanta Bird fan says, I was in Tampa for the weekend, and the weather was funky. Yeah, it's not been the greatest weather for Florida this week. It's kind of just been cloudy and a little rainy. Any other Doms outside of Larson Elliott you like? Yeah, there's several. I like William Byron, Denny Hamlin, Truex, Chastain, Kevin Harvick. All those guys are viable. Don't forget, Chastain was pretty good here last year. I think he was actually first in green flag speed. Let me look back at the last Dover race. Yeah, Ross was first in green flag speed. Kyle Busch was second. Truex was fourth. Elliott was third. Chris, what's a FanDuel baseball lineup? You have 10 minutes until lock. Lock is not in 10 minutes, Tito. Lock's at like 1 something, is it not? Unless you mean the all-day slate, which we're not playing the all-day slate. The all-day slate does have that game, though, with a 21 over-under in Mexican Coors. It's insane. Yeah, no problem, spread. Let me know when to boot up the PS5. After baseball, we'll probably get going for that. But if you guys don't have any more questions, I'll get out of here. No, we don't have a race today, but I do appreciate everyone stopping by, contributing to the stream. Had to make do with what we got, but got plenty of time to build some lineups here. Maybe DraftKings will open up some more contests if things start to fill early on. But if you guys don't have anything else, I will probably get out of here. I'll give you a second if you do. But I do wish everyone the best of luck. Okay, got a couple more here. Doug says Larson, Elliott, Barry, Dylan, Logano, LaJoy for cash. It's not bad. I definitely don't mind it. Yeah, it's not bad at all. And he says Michigan Panthers play at 4 p.m. on Fox, and they're 2-0. Just saying. Yeah, I'm sorry, Andy. There's just no chance I'm watching that. The XFL or USFL, I don't know. Serpico says, I wonder what Bell's ownership will be in that second spot. As of right now, I have Bell projected to be like mid-teens in ownership. Might even end up being lower. I'll do an update for those of you over on Patreon. I'll do some updated ownership projections since we got plenty of time. And maybe some updated sims, to be honest. But I don't think it's going to be too much. Because he's really expensive. And if you're just looking at projection systems, I'll assume that most projection systems are not far off of mine. And I'll tell you right now, mine doesn't really like him that much. No problem. Yep, the race is postponed, unfortunately. No problem, Clint. Leave a like on your way out of here. Would appreciate that. And if you want all the extra content, you know where to find it. Thank you for being here, Manny C. All right. Wish you guys the best of luck. And yeah, that'll be tomorrow. So